Yeah.
Alright, let's do this. Hit record first before I screw this up. Alright, here we go. Coming up on ECG, Overwatch League is making its big entry.
Weapon H, full reveal.
Gotham by Gaslight animated feature coming soon.
Wishing for an Aladdin.
You better rub that lamp harder. All this and more coming up on the East Coast Geek Podcast. Welcome to episode 105 of the East Coast Geek Podcast for Friday, July 14th, 2017, where we bring you all the latest news on comics, movies, and gaming. I'm your host, Jeremy, and with me, as always, is Opu. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, I guess.
You guess. Was it a Deadpool kind of day?
Has it been a what kind of day?
Is it a Deadpool kind of day? Your shirt.
Oh!
Isn't that Deadpool?
No, I was like, well, I've got to wear something like geeky for the Geek Podcast, and I was like, well, I'll put that on, because it's a geek shirt, right? That counts.
I got my Stark Racing shirt on.
That is
the Loot Crate one. Yeah. So what's been going on, man?
What have I done this week? I haven't really done anything. I've been reading stuff. But this just dropped for, well, not for us, but I guess for everybody, because we're not that special. But Mass Effect Andromeda, there is a free trial. You can play the first 10 hours of the game for free right now. All you need is an EA Origin account, which that's probably still too much to ask from some people. I know that's just about too much to ask for me. And you need to, if you have your Origins account, all you need to do is go to masseffect.com. That's one word, masseffect.com/trial. That's TRIAL. And choose your platform, PS4, Xbox One, or PC. You can then play for 10 hours across single player and multiplayer with all modes available.
And the multiplayer is really cool. It's like a horde mode kind of thing, with missions where you have to kill certain targets or go pick up certain things, hack a thing. So, King of the Hill, Occupy the Area kind of events. All within, like, I think it's like 12 or 15 stages, or maybe it's only 7, I can't remember. But they can get progressively harder, and you can change the difficulty like 3 times too. So, but you, like, level up your character and give it abilities and stuff and upgrade its abilities. So kind of like the development of the main character, you do the same thing for your character too. So it's really neat. It's a lot of fun.
It gives this multiplayer more substance that way.
I would say totally watch or play the base game though, because it's a pretty amazing game as it is. So, which is why I've been playing it so much lately. Oh wait, I've been busy with other crap. So, all right, let's get on to brass tacks on that. You did that. I am interested in another game, and I'm going to put a little video up that way. There we go. This is the trailer for Fortnite. It's a game by Epic Games. They've made plenty of other titles. I can Google that for you really quick. But they are. This is the crappy thing, is they are making a. They made Paragon, and I'm trying to remember what the other one is. Anyways, they've made a bunch of games, but this one is a zombie survival type game. But they have instance content where you can have your own home base, as well as have outposts that you can bring forward into the multiplayer live servers where you play with up to 4 other people. You can see in the video they're building up forts and basically building up not only protection for themselves, but also like lanes for traps to kill the zombies on their way in. And the building isn't just during the downtime between attacks. Zombies are like a frequent thing while you're building stuff. And also you can build and rebuild defenses as they're being destroyed. So as a 4-man team, you're going to want to strategize and say, hey, we need to shore up these defenses here while the other people are providing cover fire. You know what I mean? So there's that, but there's also a really, really deep mission system as well, where you go out on missions and collect the stuff that you need to be able to build the stuff, rescue survivors for your home outposts that'll help protect your base at home, and build up things after that. And also, like I said, gather supplies, get weapons, get the supplies you need to make weapons, because there's a full crafting system in there as well. And as you can see with the doorway, depending on how you shape out the wall in the 3x3 square, it will either create a window feature, or you can create a short wall, or you can create the doorway as well. But there's, stairs, everything, catwalks, whatever you need to do to build your base up. It looks like a really neat game. My son and I are pretty excited, and we'll end up streaming it on my my YouTube page eventually here. It releases officially on the 25th, but there is an early access starting on the 21st if you pre-order before the 25th. So anytime during that period as well, if you pre-order, you'll get access to it. So, and it coincides nicely with some time off I'm taking.
Yeah,
so
it actually does look interesting. It kind of reminds me a bit like Sunset Overdrive's mode where.
Yeah, that's what I thought too on it, especially with the way the combat is kind of fast. But there's some neat stuff you can do with the traps and stuff. I'm trying to think. There's another game that I was likening it to. It kind of works like what's that one game that's on Xbox? Is it Dead State? Is that the one? Or not Dead State? It's an independent game where you basically it's pretty brutal though, but you're trying to survive.
You mean like State of Decay?
State of Decay, that's the one. That's the one. Yep, that's the one. Yeah, kind of like that, but this is a little more cartoonish, and I mean it's still got guns and stuff. So
yeah, and the art style seems familiar, but now that I've seen this, like the trailer, I might have to try this out. I was kind of like iffy at first, but
well, and the buy-ins start at $40, and it'll get you some basic stuff. They have some of the they're going the way of everything else, where you can buy packs to get followers or equipment or extra gear and stuff. So that kind of like loot crates kind of thing. So they have that as well in the system. But yeah, it looks really cool, and like I said, you can play with up to 4 players in a server, and you can do it private or solo. And that's where it says the 4-day head start. But it's on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the PC. So the only bad thing is, like I said, on the PC, it's going through through their own launcher. So they're trying to make their own launcher like everybody else, which I don't really care. I mean, everybody else makes a big deal. Origin, Steam, Blizzard. I'm over it. I don't really give a crap.
I just get tired of downloading them over and over. I just downloaded Good Old Games one.
Yeah. I have
today.
I have Witcher 3 through that. So yeah, I know. But anyway,
it just gets old. I got to remember which one I'm going through to get what games.
Right. Yeah, no, I got you. I understand. Like I said, it's Fortnite.
I mean, I'm not going to make a big stink over it, but it's just like.
Yeah, that was the reveal trailer. I guess they showed it at what's it called? epicgames.com/Fortnite. I'm gonna grab the website and put it in the chat so everybody can have access to it, and you can see the packages, because there's 4 different packages with varying pre-order bonuses and other stuff like that. So, but anyways, I digress. We can move on to the important news of the week. I just figured I'd give a heads up of what I got planned to go ahead and play here coming soon, especially on my own channel, and maybe I'll copy some of that stuff over. And I really need to start doing reviews, because because I've got all those other games like Darkest Dungeon and Everspace that I still have to do reviews for. But that means I have to record video and not talk.
Yeah, you have to record the video, and then you have to write dialogue and all that other good stuff.
Yeah,
all that fun stuff.
So a lot of work goes into that too, so I'll have to get around to it. But I'll definitely do one for this game, especially with having the time with the son to try it out, especially in the multiplayer. So, and when you don't have enough people, like if you're only playing, like if I'm playing with just myself and my son, we can fill the extra slots with AI characters. They'll probably suck, but you know, at least there's something. They can't be any worse than the AI in Ghost Recon Wildlands. So,
you know, some of my favorite bots to play with on multiplayer was from Conquer Reloaded.
Oh yeah.
If you ever played that, I don't know, man. I hate multiplayer games. You know, I don't hardly, especially games like that. But for some reason, I just played that. I played the multiplayer on that all the time. I never had anybody to play with.
Yeah.
Because I'm a horrible person, as we all know. But that was like the one I always played. I would even get like vindictive against these nameless bots or these faceless bots and have grudges against them. And
play Rocket League. You can get more grudges with AI characters because they're awful. And sometimes they're better than you. All right. First thing we've got. We reported on it before, and we're going to continue to report on it as we get more news. But Weapon H's design has been revealed. And
yes.
I bet you have something to say about it.
Go ahead.
I said I was going to say I bet you have something to say about it.
Oh, no. I don't have any opinions one way or another. So, let's break it down. First of all, is it just me, or does he remind you of the chief troll from Ernest Scared Stupid with all those things popping out of him?
Yeah. That's a good comparison. That's funny. Great.
Yeah, well, so he's gray, so there could be potentially some Grey Hulk in there, which, as we know, Grey Hulk was one of his weaker Hulk forms, but it was one of his more cunning ones. And would fight dirty. He also was able to only really be active at night. So,
only at night? That's odd.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to the whole Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing.
Okay.
So, created by the Weapon X program as part of the Weapon X and Totally Awesome Hulk crossover, Weapons of Mutant Destruction. Weapon X not only combines I'm going to dread saying all this next sentence, guys. Not only combines the savage strength and size of the Hulk with claws and abilities of Wolverine. What a heightened senses which they never remember in the comic or the shows the movies anymore. So what else is there? The Hulk's healing factor is supposed to be, when the writers remember, more powerful than Wolverine. So there's not even that.
But we want to add claws to the Hulk, so we got to take the bad with the good. You know what I mean?
So here's the thing, but it also adds the powers of Lady Deathstrike, Domino, Warpath, Sabretooth as well. Okay. So let's break this down. Lady Deathstrike, unless there's been a new Lady Deathstrike that I'm not unaware of, is a cyborg. What powers does she have? She doesn't have powers.
She's a robot.
She's a robot.
She's a fembot. She's from Austin Powers.
It's like if the robot was built with a jetpack into it. It's like a car being with wheels. It's just part of it. It's not a superpower. The thing has Domino, which, to be fair, out of all these, that one would make more sense because she does have luck-based powers.
Aren't we getting Domino in the next Deadpool movie? Right?
Have they? They've cast her, I think. I'm not sure.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I think we've discussed this.
I was just trying to remember. Domino was going to be in the next Deadpool movie. That's all.
Right. Warpath, who, if I remember correctly, has super strength, but you already got the Hulk, and it's nowhere near on the Hulk's level, but he lacks invulnerability. So, and then you got Sabretooth, who is a stronger version of Wolverine, but usually he's portrayed with a weaker healing factor. So, what extra powers did he get out of this?
I thought the Hulk was pretty badass to begin with. I mean,
Yeah, if you can clone the Hulk, all you need is the Hulk. Because he is the Hulk, and he is possibly the most powerful physical force on the planet. He, as you've seen, Green Scar / World Breaker, whatever you want to call him, defeated every superhero on the planet during the World War Hulk. Mindless Hulk was practically unstoppable. Even Bruce Banner, who built weaponry and made a small army to fight it, when he was free of the Hulk for a time, couldn't beat it. And this was the guy who was literally the Hulk.
Right.
So all they did was give him redundant abilities, unless somehow injecting more healing factors into him made him heal faster, which, again, the Hulk already heals pretty fast. In fact, Wolverine in one of the comics, when he went up against the Hulk again, he referenced the first time he fought the Hulk. He's like, when I first fought him, I thought my claws couldn't cut him. But I realized that they were cutting him. He was just healing so fast, I couldn't see the wounds.
Couldn't see the wounds.
Like, Wolverine would cut him, and as he was cutting him, the wound was closing behind him. So he was like, oh, I am not making any dents or damage into the guy. The Hulk healed so fast one time that he did get disemboweled. He held his guts in. His skin healed so fast that it caught his hand and healed to his hand. And he had to rip his hand out of his own stomach and let it heal again. Oh, God. He got his skin flash fried off of him one time.
Excellent.
And grew it back within 3 panels. Like within the span of him saying shut up for a second to everybody that was around him, and he healed it back. So I don't know if injecting more healing factors in him is going to make him more healable. Well, I mean, Warpath isn't invulnerable. The Hulk's already invulnerable to most conventional damage and most unconventional damage. So what does Warpath bring into it?
Apparently nothing.
Again, Lady Deathstrike is a cyborg. I mean, what did they put on him that's cybernetic? I mean, maybe they have some cybernetics in him. I don't know what.
Maybe his brain.
To be fair, they potentially could have done that to make him controllable.
Right.
So let me go into the rest of this. Weapons of Mutant Destruction has already kicked off. Not only is the Weapon X program back, the same program that helped create killing machines like Wolverine, Sabretooth, and Deadpool, but they have a deadly new anti-mutant agenda under the leadership of bigoted preacher and longtime foe of the X-Men, William Stryker. Weapon X's actions have forced Old Man Logan, Sabretooth, Warpath, Lady Deathstrike, Domino, and the Hulk, that's Adamus Cho Hulk, into an uneasy alliance. Will they be able to work together long enough to survive Weapon X? Fans will only find out when Weapons of Mutant Destruction concludes in Totally Awesome Hulk 22 in August. Now here's the thing. So you take a bunch of mutants and you smash them together into a guy that can heal good. And he has swords coming out of his arms because those are long claws. And he's kind of gray. Who does that remind you of? From a really bad movie. Warpath brings in a share of Indian casinos. Yeah, he's
I got distracted
tax-free.
by that. Yeah,
he's exempt from taxes and stuff. Yeah,
free college. Gotcha.
Free college.
Great.
I don't even know if they do that anymore.
It's really hard to prove now. So, anyways.
So basically, they took Deadpool from the Wolverine movie and said, okay, well, we're going to take the Deadpool aspect out. We're going to put in the Hulk, and that will fix all the problems.
Of course it will. Of course it will. We need the path of least resistance, which is not the route they're taking, just to explain away everything that we want to make this guy do, potentially in the future. They may also forget that some of this stuff is included in there, and someone will be like, hey, why haven't you guys written in this yet? And they're like, oh yeah, totally a great idea. And then the next issue, it's in there.
Well, I don't understand. What did you take from Sabretooth? Sabretooth and Wolverine are the exact same thing.
Maybe he's got hair on his back you can't see.
That's very true. That could be very true. Except the thing is, Sabretooth's claws come out of his fingers and not out of his knuckles.
Yeah.
I mean, what you making the Hulk crazier and angrier with putting Sabretooth in there,
Hulk smash.
giving him a greater berserker rage. It's like why?
I'm telling you, all they want to do is they want to be able to say, "Oh yeah, we can use this now too," because they've said he's got that in him.
Well, if they wanted that, they should say, okay, well, he's a composite of a bunch of different mutants.
What's that word called where you make sure you add something in for the convenience of use later? You had a name for it before. You used it before. I can't remember what it is. So.
Not Deus Ex Machina.
Oh, that's interference by God. Or a God. What happened to
good Sabretooth? You mean when he got lobotomized by Wolverine? Or the ultimate Sabretooth where he was worried about the animals being hurt? Oh, new powers as the plot demands might be the trope.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
They're like, oh, by the way, he can totally fly now. How? Well, we'll figure that out later.
Right,
so I don't know. I don't know what they're going with here. It's like they run out of ideas, so they're just merging. They're just throwing stuff at the wall.
See what sticks.
And none of this is going to stick. Like, making Old Man Logan go up against this is like a fresh Hulk is kind of a neat idea, even though he's already defeated a very powerful Hulk.
Right.
Well, if you haven't read the original Old Man Logan, go read that. That's really good. So that's what's happening that's some of the things that are happening in Marvel right now in the comics. And
now
I don't know.
And now we're going to talk about the Disney Marvel choices.
It's a bad design. Like, overall, it's a bad concept, and it's just bad design.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what was a good design, okay? And, I give DC so much credit these days, but this was from years ago with Batman Superman's comic. They had a character designed to take down Superman called All-American Boy, or whatever.
Okay.
It was kind of a dumb name, but it was a clone of Doomsday, but instead of bone spikes everywhere, it was kryptonite spikes.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
That's brilliant. One thing, he's as strong as Superman or close enough. And then he literally seeps the radiation that kills Superman.
He's like a Hulk with kryptonite coming out of him all over the place.
It was actually a brilliant concept for the government to weaponize this kind of thing. And they had an entire team designed specifically to take down Superman, which is not what Suicide Squad is, because... No. So what is the point of this Weapon H character? Didn't they already have the Mutant Hunter alien thing at one point that could nullify or mimic people's powers? I forget. And that's not the Sentinels, by the way. That's not the Nimrods and all that stuff. I feel like it was called Mutant Hunter or something. Anyway, that's out there. This is what Marvel's giving us these days. Yeah. Besides all the bad, poorly written.
At least in the comics, they're hitting it in the movies, but they're doing the right things when they adapt some of the things. And man, I heard some great stuff about Spider-Man, so I really need to go see that.
Yeah. Apparently, when you go work for Marvel, as an editor, you're basically on vacation 24 hours a day because you're not even Googling to make sure words are spelled right.
Or not even Googling when people put current culture references in, like we talked about, a couple months ago about you know what I'm talking about. All right, let's go ahead and move into the movies and TV. How about that?
Yeah!
Sound like a good idea?
It sounds like an okay idea to me.
Terrible woodwind instrument playing. All right, so the first thing we've got, pretty exciting news. They've revealed the cast for the New Warriors TV show that's going to be on Freeform, right?
Freeform, yes.
Yes, Freeform.
We discussed off camera where it's like the new version of ABC Family or whatever from back when we were younger. But terrible. What do you mean terrible? I forget what we said that was terrible. A lot of things are terrible right now.
Oh,
but anyway,
he's offended because he's offended because I'm insulting his Windwood instrument playing.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I guarantee that's probably what that was. He didn't get that from anywhere. Perry recorded that himself and said, "Hey, you guys should use this."
We appreciate the effort behind it, Perry. We appreciate the effort. So the New Warriors cast has been fully revealed now. You know, they announced some. It was scattered about. So the cast includes Squirrel Girl and Mr. Immortal.
So,
with those two, why didn't they just do Great Lakes Avengers?
And with you saying and showing her barely behind me here, back behind me. Here, let me bring it up to the front. I was trying to figure out who this chick was, and I couldn't. Where's my freaking?
Isn't she from like Two Broke Girls or something, or one of these?
No, she is from. Here, we'll order. Move up. That's probably. Maybe if I make this bigger, I can do this. That way people can actually see. Because we don't need it. We don't need me as much right now. Because she's in the corner. This girl right here. It's her name is Milana Van Trub. And I recognized her because she has been in quite a few. She pops in a lot of shows. But she's in Silicon Valley. But yes, Perry's got it. She's the chick in the AT&T commercials.
Oh!
The one with the bedazzled shirt. Do you remember? She has the bedazzled shirt. I'm going to put this back behind now. There we go. Yeah, that's her. She does all the AT&T commercials. But yeah, she was in Silicon Valley and was just a small guest part, but you know. So now, after all that time, it killing me trying to figure out where she was from. She was born in Uzbekistan. So she's going to be your squirrel girl.
Yep. So
sorry, I didn't mean to hijack.
Real quick, we've got Milana as Squirrel Girl. We've got Derek Thieler as Mr. Immortal, Jeremy Tardy as Night Thrasher, Caleb Worthy as Speedball, Matthew Moy as Microbe, and Kate Corner as Debris. Now, real quick, I'll go through some of the powers. Squirrel Girl is a throwback from the Silver Age comics where these people had the dumbest powers, but they were completely overpowered. So she is a Silver Age character in a more modern, grounded universe. So the joke is that even though she has these stupid powers of the abilities of a squirrel and able to summon squirrels from basically nowhere, nobody can defeat her. But all of her fights happen off panel. So as long as they have a transition there, she's going to win. Mr. Immortal.
All right, hang on.
Oh.
Derek Thieler. This is a nice little tidbit. He's been trying to get into Marvel for a while. Derek Thieler also auditioned for Captain America, but was not cast.
Looks alone, he does look like a captain.
Yeah,
so
he could have pulled it off.
And you know what? He can absolutely pull off Mr. Immortal. He's going to have to get like a fuzzier hair for me, but
Squirrels are
OP,
yeah, for sure.
So Mr. Immortal, his powers are exactly what his name is. He is basically immortal. He is supposed to be what? Homo Omega or something like that. He is like or Homo Supreme. He's like the next stage above mutants. And he is supposed to be like the last living thing in the universe. So, at least based off the comics. So, it's kind of weird. They never explain how this happens, but so, although he's athletic, and he has had some training with Hawkeye and Mockingbird, he's still a normal human. The only thing is if he gets shot in the heart, he'll come back to life within seconds. If he gets shot in the head, he'll come back to life within seconds. If he gets blown apart, comes back to life within seconds. So he actually kind of dies, but resurrects in a way. So absolutely nothing can kill him. Night Thrasher is this is going to test my memory real quick. He has a gem or an amulet which gives him basically alien Iron Man armor in a way, or superpowers. So he's actually a legit character, as in he's got legit superpowers, and he could be a real threat. Speedball Speedball.
Speedball. He's
Yeah.
he's named after a drug. Or is the
Well,
drug named
maybe
after
the drug's
him?
named after him. So Speedball's powers are kinetic energy based. Like, he could jump off a building and just whatever force, all that science stuff, the kinetic force, he could spring back. He also could make energy bubbles and use them as attacks or amplify his own physical attacks. When he first got his powers, he was pretty much useless. Later on, he's refined them, and there was that whole time when he was penance after the Civil War. Hopefully, they never touch on that. But but he has actually decent powers when they write him like they need to. Microbe is a fat guy who controls microscopic. Is it insects or germs or bacteria or whatever? Like, he can, if somebody's wearing armor, he can use them to rust the armor and all that, and eat away at the wiring, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Debris, I think they label her powers in a dumb way. They call her a low-level electromagnetic telekinetic. So, she can make herself hover, but she can't make herself fly, and she can't make herself move faster than she could potentially comfortably walk. She can pull stuff and repel stuff to her. She's used debris and other kinds of stuff, like broken robots, to protect herself before. It just sounds like they need to describe it as kind of like really weak levels of Magneto's powers, as opposed to throwing in the word telekinesis in there. Just say, this is a really weak and pathetic version of Magneto. Although the art style right there, I really think is really neat for her. Actually, aside from the Night Thrasher one, I don't really like that art. It looks like it's from a G.I. Joe comic, but...
Yeah, he looks like one of the freaking... the ninjas. Yeah, it looks like it'll be a good cast, and this is going to be on Freeform, which is the... I guess the teen Disney nowadays. What used to be the old ABC Family Channel and the Family Channel back in the day. For those of you old enough to remember things like, I was saying to Mitch before, Rescue 911 and all that.
Which I don't even remember that.
That's really dating me. Honestly, that's really dating me.
I'm still young and youthful. I'm with the it crowd. I'm not a square old man like him.
Somebody has to be the adult out of the two of us. And it's not going to be me. No. Alright, so, did you already read through your blurb here?
No, I haven't done the spiel. So,
go for it.
This is why I think they should have went with Great Lakes Avengers as opposed to New Warriors. They had a chance here to do something somewhat more unique. But then they went with, it sounds like the Flash's plot, the TV show The Flash. New Warriors revolves around 6 young people with powers living and working together, with powers and abilities on the opposite end of the spectrum of the Avengers. The New Warriors want to make a difference in the world, even if the world isn't ready. With Freeform focus on a group dubbed Becomers, those experiencing a series of firsts in life, including first loves and first jobs. New Warriors explores the journey into adulthood, except in this world, they're not as quite as super and not yet heroes, and the guys can be as terrifying, and the bad guys can be as terrifying as bad dates. Freeform has ordered 10 30-minute episodes slated to debut in 2018, so more slice of life type of love triangle type of stuff, but it's supposed to be funny. I would rather have seen them drama. Set up the New Warriors as like a Big Brother kind of reality TV show, which when I first started reading it, it started sounding like that, because one of the later versions of the New Warriors was that they had a camera crew like cops following them around, and that's what I should say. It's supposed to be.
Oh, really?
Cops.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so they would go around and they would capture like D-list heroes and stuff. That would have been neat, and then have them screw it up and stuff. Great Lakes Avengers, they basically were a bridge club in costumes. Like,
really?
They would show, like, basic stuff would hold them up from getting to a crime scene, like traffic would hold them up. You know, gosh. Or they would get there and the real Avengers are there, so they just sit there on the sidelines and they're like, "Can we help?" And no, thank you. And then like Hawkeye would be there, and Mr. Immortal would be like, "Oh, well, he kind of trained us one time, so we're best friends." And he'd be like, "Oh God."
Do we still want an Alpha Flight movie or TV show?
Dude, I would totally dig an Alpha Flight. Honestly, I wish my Canadian friend Taylor was here so he could tell us about the adventures in Canada. But I think that would be neat. But them focusing on like first dates and love. We've seen that in the superhero movies with the Spider-Mans. We've seen it in Flash. We've seen it in Green Arrow where they miss that was the reason. That was one of the reasons Civil War story was so dumb. Like, Civil War happened because Nitro, this guy that can explode himself, blew up a school.
I mean,
yeah. Well, here's the thing: he normally only has a radius of like 6 feet.
Greg
and
said
it suddenly expanded to 200 feet for this because he was doped up on a drug that none of the heroes knew about.
Extremis? Tell me it was Extremis.
No, it was a mutant growth hormone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Extremis is this whole other thing. So everybody was blaming the heroes for this, even though they're goofy, they are experienced heroes, and they did take down a bunch of like actual competent villains that they actually tried. Like one guy almost decapitated the Hulk one time. That's one of the guys that they took out during that fight. And it was like Namor's cousin. She basically had him down and out. She had thrown him into a school bus, and the bus was like dented around him. So she had won the fight. Even if he had done his little explosion, she probably could have handled that. So, I mean,
great.
You know, they all blame these heroes, even though, you know, these guys were wanted criminals, and even if the Avengers had shown up, they still would have done the same thing. They would have done the same attack patterns, most likely.
Right.
So it was just a poorly conceived plot all around, and I don't want to get into that. So I really think they're going on the wrong direction with this. They're focusing on because they keep referencing like first loves and stuff in here.
Oh,
and that's what worries me.
Yeah. Well, they want the CW TV shows. That's what they want. They want to capture that audience. I guarantee that's why. That's what they want. They know they're going to get They know they're going to get the people that they're going to want to watch superhero shows, but they're also going to get the story of the week or the love story of the week fan club kind of thing. Hopefully, Greg, they can put Felicity in this one too.
Yeah, she might as well be in it. I'm surprised she hasn't gotten a costume yet.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This one seems awesome because you've mentioned this on the show before, the comic series and how cool it was.
Yeah, So
Gotham by Gaslight is getting an animated film.
Yeah,
a feature film.
I'm so happy for the Batman fans out there. They get DC Comics completely ignores the Batman character and the mythos. And I never see him in anything. I don't see merchandise. When's the last time Batman has had a movie?
I can't deal with that. You sounded so sincere to start, and then you just kept going, and I couldn't hold it back because we haven't seen anything since The Killing Joke.
The Killing Joke. He was in the Justice League Dark. He just had. In fact,
that's right.
Where they find this information out. They just released Batman and Harley Quinn, an animated movie with them.
Oh, jeez.
Now here's the thing. This is the art is cool for this, and this is a neat storyline. It's an Elseworld. It's going to be the first Elseworld because, of course, it's going to have to be the Batman be first. I am just tired. How can? Why don't you even a Batman fan not be tired of this yet?
Why don't I read the official synopsis for the comic book story first, and then we can get into it so everybody else knows because we kind of know, but
Son of Batman was awful. Oh my goodness. Oh, Damian's the worst. Even when they try. Sorry, now I'm on this tangent. Even when they tried to make you more human or whatever, he's just a little. He needed a good beatdown. Somebody should have just called somebody over. And just for an entire 12-page, 18-page, 24-page issue, just beat the crap out of him and let him know where he sits on the totem pole. You're 50 pounds of punk, Damian.
Your YOU apostrophe RE. All right, here's the official synopsis. In an age of mystery and superstition, how would the people of Gotham react to a weird creature of the night, a bat-garbed vigilante feared by the guilty and the innocent alike? The very first Elseworlds, right? Yeah, Elseworlds tale reimagined. The Dark Knight detective in Victorian times, and pits him against infamous murderer Jack the Ripper.
Criminal during the Victorian era, as we all know.
Yeah, he's the only one that existed. The only one. You want me to read that last part too, or no?
Yeah. So, Batman Gotham by Gaslight was popular enough to spawn a sequel, Master of the Future, written by Augustine, and I don't know how to pronounce his name, and drawn by Eduardo Barrito. Its greater legacy was the Elseworlds concept. Though Gotham by Gaslight was not originally called an Elseworlds story, it led to a long line of similar reimaginings of DC Comics characters and their universe that would eventually be added to the DC Comics universe. These stories were labeled as Elseworld Tales, a label retroactively added to... so it's been retroactively added to the reprintings of it. This fan favorite tale was basically announced in its own way, according to the list of special features, including in the upcoming animated feature Batman and Harley Quinn, the next DC animation direct-to-video release, or the one that just got released.
Right.
So this is going to be the first Elseworld story. This was originally written in 1989, and originally drawn by Mike Mignola. So
Mike Mignola, yeah.
Magnolia. I like, because he's a flower.
There's no
in the comic book.
There's no eye in there.
There is one eye
in the front where the Mig part is. All right. Anyways, I actually like this idea. I think it sounds neat. I've never read the comics. It might be something I need to actually pick up. But I watched The Killing Joke. I liked The Killing Joke. Did you watch it? Did you end up watching it or no, Mitch?
No.
No? Okay. They leave the ending open to your interpretation. It's that audience interpretation of the ending. Mm-hmm. Batman walks away from the Joker after a gunshot, but they do not show the gunshot. So you don't know if the Joker killed himself or Batman killed him. But we all know Batman doesn't use guns, so...
Actually, there is even a trope called that. Batman picks up a gun. It's when drastic times cause a character out of their normal
yeah, no,
Batman
I know.
has used guns before.
I know. But it was really good. It was really well set out. And that thing's over, a year and a half old, almost 2 years now. You know, watch it. It was really good. Some pretty brutal stuff, though. And then that scene. We talked about that scene with Barbara on the rooftops, even though you didn't see it. Yeah. Anyways, so...
here's my thing. I'm just tired of Batman movies. I don't remember the last time they've released one without Batman in it. Justice League Dark is arguably the closest thing they've had to a different one, but guess what? Batman's still in it.
He's the anchor.
Here's the thing. There's an Elseworld story
DC by Batman.
where Superman, Kal-El, gets adopted by the Wayne family. They don't have a son, so he gets adopted, and they still get killed. So Superman becomes Batman. Why don't they do that story?
Right.
You know, at least that's you still get your Batman in their DC, but and you got Superman because you're afraid to stray too far from your main characters. I mean, even your Wonder Woman. When's the last time you made an animated movie for
her? Everybody thinks the invisible plane is stupid, so they avoid it.
Well, they don't have to do the invisible jet.
Yeah, I know.
Give Aquaman, do Aquaman Year One. That was a good story. That was a heartbreaking story at the end where he has to choose between staying with his wife giving birth to his child and his best friend, who happens to be a whale, being attacked and killed by whalers.
You want me to send Greg away? Nobody wants.
Nobody. Well, I'm giving an example.
No. I said no. I was asking if you want me to send him away because what I'm going to say is inflammatory. Nobody wants to watch a whole movie about a guy who talks to fish. All right.
Well, listen. I don't want to watch a whole movie about a guy with mommy and daddy issues dressed up as a bat fighting a clown all the time. It's always the Joker.
But what about?
Yeah, at the very least, give me Mr. Freeze again, like you did Batman Sub-Zero or whatever it was.
Yeah.
The Joker's boring for me. Yeah, oh yeah, the Killing Joke and all that stuff. Yeah, whatever. I've seen it 1,000 times. It was amazing. Yeah, Joker's good in small doses, but he's in everything.
Yeah.
And he gets boring, just like Batman's boring. There's no character depth to him.
We all watched Finding Nemo. Perfect.
Oh.
All right. Let's go ahead and do this next thing. This will be our inflammatory rant segment for the day. I know that last one. I know this last one sounded like a rant against Batman and his rise to fame in the DC universe, but this one will be a little more inflammatory.
Oh, that would be good. I'm sorry,
no, that's fine.
John.
Really?
The Wild West Justice League.
Really? That's a real thing?
Well, yeah, kind of. Yes.
That sounds kind of cool.
I know at least one version of it.
Awesome. See, I don't know. That's why I have Mitch here. See, because I don't know comics as well as he does, so I pick up things here and there. So, all right. Once again, warning, because it's kind of it's one of those things we usually avoid, but it needs to be talked about every now and then. And the issue is that Disney can't find somebody to play they can't find a Middle Eastern person to play Aladdin in the live-action Aladdin film that they're casting for right now. And they've already apparently passed on, who do we said this is Dev Patel. Greg, you'll recognize him from The Newsroom. He played Neil Sampat in that. And then, it's Riz Ahmed, right? They've already passed on these two. And there's no understanding on why. They are doing a Middle Eastern movie. Aladdin is a Middle Eastern tale, and they don't want to hire an actor.
You know, the guy, I really don't know these two actors, but the guy with the short hair in that picture, shave him, and I think you got him. Because this other guy with the full mustache stuff, he just looks like he'd be too old for Aladdin.
Riz is 34, the one on the right. And Dev Patel, I believe, is like 27.
Wait, so I don't like
the left
one.
Right
or you're right?
No, the one
short
with
hair and long hair.
The longer-haired one is 27.
The long-haired one is 27 because he looks like he's 30 something.
The short-haired one is 34.
Wow, because I was looking at the long-haired guy and I'm like, wow, he looks like he's older than me.
The one with the long hair, he looks a lot younger when it's all shaved out. He looked really young in The Newsroom, and that was only a few years ago. But he was really good in that part. He can act. Coming to mind, other actors, Rami Malek from Mr. Robot, and I think he was in the first Jarhead movie. But Rami Malek just won an award for the second season of Mr. Robot. He won an Emmy for that, for Best Actor. Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series. And he's 36. He could totally pull it off. He's still got the young face, but he played the Pharaoh in Night at the Museum. The one I'm talking about. I thought
like the first one.
Yeah,
I guess he played it in both then.
Yeah, he played it in both. Yeah, the first and the second. He was in Need for Speed. He can act too. There are picks. I think it's at a point where Disney and whoever the producer is or the director is for this movie is being very picky, and they'll probably cast Russell Crowe or who's the other one? Christian Bale, right?
Do like they did with Short
Circuit Gods of Egypt
back in the 80s, where they get a white guy and just put tanning lotion on him.
Who was in Gods of Egypt? That movie that went over so well.
That dude.
They need to think smart about this and do what they need to do instead of this tiptoeing and dancing around.
Well, here's my first thing is, my same thing with Beauty and the Beast. What's the point of remaking it?
Gerard Butler.
What's the point of remaking these?
Well, they're doing they're doing live action ones.
Timeless.
Apparently, people really like the Jungle Book remake, the Jon Favreau Jungle Book.
Now with that one, let me ask this, because I didn't see it yet.
I haven't seen it either.
It was on Netflix or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's on Netflix.
So maybe somebody in the audience knows. But was it more loyal to the book? Because
Well, I mean, even still, Aladdin is based on what is it? The Arabian Nights, right?
Yeah.
So
1001 Tales.
Yeah, 1001 Tales, Arabian Nights, and Jungle Book is based on the Rudyard Kipling book by the
Are they going to be? Now that's another thing. So if they're going to stay more loyal to the story, and from 1001 Tales, where there's two genies, one is in the ring, you remember, and the other one was the lamp.
Right.
And he was the more powerful one.
Right.
But I think the one in the ring was had unlimited wishes, right? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, there's your answer right there. Greg did see it.
I can't say it was loyal to the book, but it was certainly a good watch. Well, that's very true. It's always about the money. So in the book, at least one of the issues, and I mean, Greg's probably read the book, so he's going to correct me on this. It's been a long time on this, but Baloo and Bagheera, the bear and the panther, respectively, their personalities were switched. Bagheera was the more laid back one in the book, and Baloo was the more introspective and reserved character. If I'm not mistaken.
There's another article here talking about, they went through Dev Patel, Riz Ahmed, and tons of unknowns too. Around 2,000. Oh my God, this is absurd. All right, are you ready? Around 2,000 actors and actresses have read for the lead roles of Jasmine and Aladdin. How can you not find somebody? How can you not find somebody?
Have they
2,000 people? 2,000 people.
2,000 people. Oh wow. I mean, we were. Maybe. I mean, the singing thing, you can always have somebody dub over them.
Yeah, they do that. The wonders of technology. They dub over them lip syncing to the words. It's easy.
I mean, they've been dubbing over people since Grease. Remember?
Didn't they do that for the Beauty and the Beast movie? I think I heard about that, and she did a terrible job anyways. So, Emma Watson.
So
it's just
wow. That's kind of sad. I mean, who's the director? Do we know?
I don't know, but I'll look here as I'm looking. But wait. The production is slated.
If they're going to be more. I'm sorry. I was going to cover while you looked it up.
No. I was going to read this part really quick.
Okay, go ahead.
The casting call specified that the production was slated to begin in July, but the search has dragged on. 2,000 actors, and they. I mean, I know that you don't want to settle, but at the same time, what the hell are you doing? Okay, go ahead.
Oh, well, so...
here you go. Guy Ritchie.
They do say... Oh, go ahead.
Guy Ritchie's the director. Mr. I do lots of British movies. Snatch, and Two Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and all kinds of other stuff. He is a venerable force in directing. He is a good director. Why can't he find a star? I mean,
except for his King Arthur didn't do that well.
And listen, come on. The casting director is Randy Hiller.
Do you think that he has... I like Guy Ritchie, don't get me wrong. But do you think he's the right one for an Aladdin movie? His movies kind of fit a trend.
I mean, I understand what you're getting at, but at a certain point, directors don't want to be continuously pigeonholed into the same stuff. You don't want to be Yui Bowl, okay?
Well, okay, well,
you don't want to be a live action violence and snuff film.
Sucked. That's the different thing. Guy Ritchie's movies are at the very least fun and action packed for the vast majority of them, where they have really interesting characters with interesting quirks. I just don't know if his style is going to translate into Agrabah, Now, that you mentioned Russell Crowe and stuff, the genies. That's exactly who's going to cast as genies if he does two of them.
Oh my gosh. They could also look into getting Fassbender. He just He just played a Middle Eastern guy in Assassin's Creed. All right, I'm done with that.
Okay.
I think we can. You want to continue to beat the dead horse, or?
Well, so we're talking about these live action adaptations. They're working on. They just got John Oliver to be Zazu for the live action, The Lion King. So
I forgot they're doing that too.
About that. Isn't the live action version of The Lion King just Hamlet?
Basically, wasn't that the basis for The Lion King?
That's literally all it is Hamlet.
Well, I'm not saying that Disney doesn't have original ideas, but at the same time, it's they have their sources that give them inspiration,
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Again, if you're going to rip something off, then yes, Hamlet is definitely one of the. I mean, it is one of the cornerstones of literature and theater work. Like pretty much everything else Shakespearean, but so I'm not bashing them on that. That's just a question I'm presenting to everybody. Is that's pretty much what The Lion King was. I love The Lion King. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore it.
Oh my god! You know what? I don't like this guy. I really don't. Did you watch Parks and Recreation?
Oh, not that guy. The guy that was.
No. Listen. They've already casted Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen as Timon and Pumbaa. Billy Eichner could probably do a pretty good Nathan Lane impression. The guy who played Timon in the original movie.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I was well, not just for you, the people that are in here too.
He also was in Mouse Hunt, people.
Yeah. So Billy Eichner played the guy that was. He's been in a bunch of other stuff too, but in Parks and Recreation, he played one of the guys that was coming over from the city that got merged with the city that was involved in Parks and Rec. But he's been. In a bunch of other
I
stuff
thought you were talking about for the guy that played Aladdin. That
No.
Producers, yeah, but the Andre Anzine or whatever.
Aziz Ansari. Yeah, he's no, he wouldn't be ideal. He could play Apu. There you go. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the gaming. That should carry us out through the rest of the show here. Enough with the rants. All right.
What Star Wars?
All right. So, the Overwatch League was announced as getting its startup. All movies are ever based on Shakespeare. I mean, that's
He's not wrong.
He really isn't. Even the ones with Batman in them. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, English itself has so many words from him. Okay, that's enough. We are not talking about We're not talking about Shakespearean theory anymore. We're talking about Overwatch.
Yeah, the Shakespearean theory.
Serious business.
We'll have to start a new show for the Shakespearean theory. All right, the Overwatch League has been announced and organized, I guess is the right word. And the teams have been organized in the cities of Boston, New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Miami, Orlando, with a little dash in between there, Shanghai, and Seoul. And the idea behind it was, Blizzard plans to add other teams and cities over time beyond these first 7 teams. But according to Nate Nanzer, the commissioner of the Overwatch League, tying the teams to specific cities is meant to mirror the structure of conventional sports leagues, which is a smart idea that gets your local base around it. I just don't know how home and away games are going to work. We did a lot of research in traditional sports and how traditional sport teams make money, and what we saw is that traditional sports teams make money because they have a venue and host home games and sell tickets and merchandise and all that. And that's completely missing from the esports events, which he's right. Other than the what is it? The International for Dota and the whatever the League of Legends is Invitational. They make tons of money hand over fist for those games, and some of that money goes towards the purse. What?
I'm counting how many teams there are.
I said 7.
Yeah, I
wasn't
paying attention.
Nanzer also noted that Blizzard hopes that anchoring the teams in specific cities will help attract fans through local allegiances to their hometown. Andy Miller, the owner of the newly founded San Francisco team, agreed, saying that the concept of city-based pro esports league was the biggest selling point on the idea for joining up on the league. And the owners are as follows. For Boston, Massachusetts, owner is going to be Robert Kraft. I think you may have eaten some of his food in your lifetime. He also owns the New England Patriots, so he knows a little bit about the sports game. The New York City team is going to be owned by Jeff Wilpon, the COO or the Chief Operations Officer of the New York Mets. Another good sports-minded name. Los Angeles team owned by Noah Winston. He is currently the CEO of the Immortals esports team. So he founded that team and have built them as a name out there in the esports leagues. Founder of the Miami Orlando team is owned by Ben Spoont, who's the founder of Team Misfits esports team, who are affiliated with the Miami Heat already. So I don't know how that's going to work out, whether he's going to keep that team, because they kind of operate in the ESL and stuff like that, I believe. Shanghai China team is going to be owned by NetEase, who is the Chinese internet technology company providing online services centered on content, community, communications, and commerce. So basically, one of their big providers there out in China. And the Seoul, South Korea team is being owned by Kevin Chow, founder of Kabam Entertainment out of Vancouver, BC, and they produce free-to-play games. It look like a lot of mobile games and stuff from what I looked at. So, good idea overall. Honestly, that's it's been talked about forever, and it's been talked about in the Blizzard arena for a while too. Not just with Overwatch, but also Heroes of the Storm, and that's always come up when they talk about the WoW arena teams, the Warcraft arena teams. So.
Well, the reason I was double checking on the team sizes is that you got a couple of international teams. Most of them are stateside. What are their seasons going to be like? Because 7 teams. I mean, how many teams are there in NFL? Like 50, 70?
No, they're at
20?
34. Greg will know. He'll be able to answer.
I'll stall until then. Well, an average season's 10 games?
But
how many times are you going to have these guys play each other?
But the leagues, so here's the deal with sports leagues. I don't know if you know this, but they usually didn't start out with 30 teams. Yeah, see, 32 NFL.
32.
The NHL is adding another team this year. They've got 31. But the NHL, for instance, started with 6 teams. No,
don't get me wrong. I understand that they all they have to start off small. You're not going to obviously have 32 teams from the get-go. And, sometimes the teams merge, sometimes they split up, all that kind of stuff. My thing is, I was just curious about what their initial scheduling was going to be.
Yeah.
Are they going to only have 7 games? Are they going to have... Well, here's the thing with the billionaires, because I was actually thinking something similar like this.
Correction. Bajillionaires.
Bajillionaires. I'm sorry, I didn't use the proper nomenclature. A lot of the reasons it's a good idea to have some of these guys, like the Mets and the Patriots owners, are that they already know how the big boys work. So you're getting their insight as well. You're not just getting their money, but you're getting their experience.
And you're getting varied experience across the owners. Like I said, not all of them own sports teams. Some of them own esports teams, so they already know how the esports scene works. So those teams might have the benefit of knowing how to get the word out on their team a little better than the ones that run baseball and football teams. So
and not only that, but you can have potential cross promotion there, because now it's going to work in these actual sports owners' favor for them to say, oh, well, let's put some esports signs up there. Oh, let's have some of the Patriots guys come and, hang out with our esports team. Or, hey, let's get the cheerleaders out there. Or, whatever.
And Spartacus brought up a good point, too. Shaq already owns a gaming team. I can't remember what the name of it is, but I think it's one based on LA,
it's the Shaq Fu team, obviously.
Obviously.
It does feel dirty, and we don't know what else is going on behind the scenes. Maybe they're just doing this as a hobby, or early investments, and they're planning on getting out soon once the thing gets on its own.
So
I don't know.
Yeah,
but
it's NRG.
Unfortunately, you got to have money for this, and Blizzard makes a ton of money, but this would be hard for them to do on their own.
So something else that I didn't put in this article because it's not confirmed yet. Supposedly, the league buy-in is $20 million.
Do you know what? In comparison with other sports, I'm sorry for cutting you off. That's a pittance. That's pocket change for these people.
I know. It's not unreasonable. However, I think there was something about stipulations against the certain types of income that they wouldn't be privileged to until after the first year or something. There's something to it. But it'll be an interesting thing to see what they do with it and how it takes off. And I hope it takes off. We need this kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. I would totally love for esports to take off. Some of these, like, you've mentioned League of Legends, which I'm not that interested in. I'm not really that interested in Overwatch as well. But there are plenty of other games. Like, I would love to see more like StarCraft ones, to be honest with you. That's the ones I really enjoy watching.
I think you need to go back to Korea. No.
Well, let me clarify.
They have a whole channel dedicated
I really
to
enjoy
that.
the real-time strategies. I love seeing how they set up their stuff, in a way.
Right. No, I got you.
Obviously, these guys are, with their training regiment, they already have their plans already completely enacted before the doors drop, or the gates go up, or the shields go down, however it's
right.
They release the hounds, so to speak.
Well, I mean, with games like Overwatch, games like, well, I won't include CS:GO because that game is so simplified compared to things that have powers like even Team Fortress 2 has something that differentiates players, but like Rainbow Six, Overwatch, they have powers that you have to compensate and I lost my thought. Yeah, they have powers you have to compensate for that change the way the battlefield works. It's not always just a bullet coming out of a gun. It's a rocket, or it's a power or something. It's a hook coming at you from Roadhog. I likened Rainbow Six, and people don't like my analogy for it. I likened Rainbow Six to a game of chess, because you have to come up with a plan and have an idea of who's strong in the meta right now and who you need to use to counter those people. And you won't always do it. You'll makeshift it, but as you move along through the game, it's you move a piece here and you bust down a door, and then there's a trap, and then there's so on and so forth. Things that you have to keep an eye out for, and also you got guys running around on the inside of the house that have guns as well. So it kind of adds that depth of layer. I don't want to say it's exactly like 3-layer chess, but you've got things that you have to compensate for, people that can do certain things differently, that you have to plan for, and that's one of those things that you can. That's why that planning phase is done in Rainbow Six, where you can drone in and find out what the situation is and kind of get an idea of what's going on. It's added for realism, but it's also added for, okay, well, we didn't bring this guy, but they have this guy that would have been countered by him, so we need to go around it or figure a different way to take care of this problem. So it has its strategy to it, and a lot of games do nowadays, and that adds depth to it. And that's why I don't like Counter-Strike, because it's just a bullet comes from the end of your gun to the guy, and you can 360 no scope and do dumb crap like that. So, not to insult anybody who plays the game. If they play it, that's your thing. That's just not mine. So
if this does expand, well, let's see
How many other leagues do you think will pop up if this is successful?
Wishful thinking. This is wishful thinking, and I'm probably going to sound stupid, but I would love to see 2 different Pokemon ones. One for the card game, and also side note Hearthstone. I'd like to see that come up, or even more like Magic the Gathering type of one. I would like to see the main Pokemon series come a thing.
Well, so for Pokemon to happen, Pokemon needs to homogenize. They need to stop. They have how many Pokemon in the Pokédex?
700 and something.
Okay.
Here's the thing. There's obviously, and fans have built these, but there are tiers. There's some that you're never going to see in a fight. So you can already discount probably a couple of hundred of them.
Right.
So that's the thing.
So we're going to see Charmander versus Pikachu.
You have to consider what's going to be banned. What there's going to, and this would be like with Magic as well. What setups might be banned? Like they might not allow the level 1. I guess this one might be dated now. A level 1 Rattata with the fear and the stab abilities.
Right.
Which was what? Focus, or Endure. It was Focus Belt, Endure something, and I forget the last 2, but basically with that setup, your Rattata could one-shot level 100 Pokemon.
Right.
They'd have to set it to 50 like they normally do in when you have your team battles.
Well, yeah, when you do the battles online, I think they homogenize your character down to 55.
Yeah.
So they baseline them to that stat level, but there's a lot of factors in those too. The IVs and all that, and how you breed them and all that. So
right.
There's more variables in that, but they need a standard platform. Rainbow Six, I think we're in for that game to stay the way it is until it needs an engine update. They have a lot of ability to expand on it, and so far, every time somebody says, when's Rainbow Six Siege 2 coming out? And it's like, no, we're continuing to fix the problems we have with it, and every 3 months, or 2 months, every 3 months, we're going to release 2 new characters, an offensive and a defensive character. And they plan to add more than 100 new characters over the next few years. They have a plan for it.
The other thing is that...
And Overwatch, even easier. Overwatch is in a good position because their graphical engine looks amazing, and it's set for what it is set for.
Well, we're comparing 2 different types of games.
No, there. I know. I'm general.
And this was my wishful thinking. Obviously, all these other stars we have to get in alignment. First of all, Nintendo. Step 1, Nintendo. And they're like talking to a brick wall about anything.
Yeah.
So those would be like my wishful thinking. I'd like to see. I wish I knew more real-time strategy games, but I'd like to see more of those where they had a mandatory 5 or 10 minutes where they had to set everything up, and you couldn't just Zerg rush in there.
I hate Zerg.
I like to see stuff planned out. That's why I'm leaning towards the card games, because you don't get to see the Overwatches and everything kind of planned out. I mean, they know the maps, so they've already got all the maps memorized. The only thing they're going to have to say is okay, well, we got to consider for this option, like you said, are they going to have a Reinhardt? Are they going to have a Bastion? Are they going to have a Tracer? Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
What else would I like to see? I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, I'd like to see Warhammer. The tabletop game become like a league. Obviously, that's not video games, but
So the thing is that type of stuff definitely needs announcers to translate, because oh my god, this guy moved up a tray of these guys, and oh dear lord, if you're just watching that, it's like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly, and you're going to need that. You need that for whatever sport they're playing.
Right.
I mean, even in football, as ingrained as football, basketball, and baseball are, they have the announcers to explain that stuff, and that's why they do those after action replays or whatever you want to call them. And here's the thing I want with the announcers, and I'm sorry that I'm now on this tangent, is don't get to the sports soccer mode type of where you're just doing screaming.
Oh god.
I can't stand that because I never understand what they're saying. Even I don't know why the gaming announcers are different than the sports announcers because when they're starting to yell, I can understand them. But I'm like, you guys, y'all need to balance yourselves. Explain what you're trying to say here.
You got to watch it because some of those announcers are nerds and they're pretty in the closet when they're casting games.
That's another thing. They might need to, if they get these announcers, they might need to get them some training or some social commentary.
The Overwatch tournaments I've watched this year, the announcement, the play-by-play has been so much better. Same with Rainbow Six. I didn't see this one. They are getting a lot better. There's no nerd screams. There's no,
And to be fair, like this is a budding league as opposed to the NFL announcers that have either been coaches, players, or both. For 30 years before they became announcers. These are guys that either like the game or just whatever.
Right, and the time is now to get it out there and for it to hit off. I can't walk through my workplace without running into somebody that plays some form or fashion of video game or first person shooter for that matter, including Overwatch. So,
and not only that, but like unlike when we were younger, the technology's there now.
Yeah.
For it to be broadcast online, when I was younger, I was this massive geek. My dad, unfortunately, couldn't do anything with me because he didn't realize there were conventions. He didn't realize that all these other things came out. The ESL.
Yeah.
I don't know what
the Esports League.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're the ones that cover the Rainbow Six tournaments.
Okay.
And they also do the. That's why. Yeah, that's exactly why. It's a job prerequisite. So
now my other quick question is: with these teams, are they going to have the mascots and everything? Are they going to?
Yeah, presumably they would be doing this, and this is
because that's part of the whole trend. That's kind of what I'm excited for. What are the mascots going to be?
Now, what I'm curious about is esport teams now are multi games. Like they play Hearthstone and League of Legends and Overwatch and CS:GO.
You were going to admit that, or if you were going to admit that, Greg, that you work with Jeremy.
This team is this league is painting itself in a corner because it's branded the Overwatch League, and they're going to do sports team or a sports team setup, which means they're going to have the 6 main players that'll play by contract, and another set in the bench. You know what I mean?
And they're probably going to have, 2 or 3 or 4 backup players. They're going to...
okay, so let me tell you why...
Have special... like football has special teams or whatever.
Yeah.
They might have guys that just main Tracer.
Yeah,
so that
exactly.
Whenever they say, okay, well, we know this team likes to do this.
Well, those guys don't make the teams. Hanzo mains don't make teams, guys. Hanzo mains do not make teams.
That's why I didn't say Hanzo.
Hanzo mains don't make teams.
Even with my vague knowledge.
So, all right, let's wrap this up because we're running along late.
There's so much. I love this theorizing with stuff like this.
It's gonna turn into.
So what we need real quick is we need $20 million. Somebody come give us a small $20 million loan and let us invest in the Overwatch League.
Yeah, there you go.
We need a team for what? We need a Maryland team or a Virginia team, West Virginia. There you go.
He definitely put basketball in there. That's hilarious. I love that movie. That's such a great movie.
That is such an underrated movie.
All right.
Basketball. Basketball is awesome.
All right, the last thing we got will be real quick, I promise. Destiny 2 open beta. I know, here comes the booze. Destiny 2 open beta is next weekend, starting on the 21st.
That's next Friday, I think, folks.
Next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday on consoles only. The PC's coming later because the PC engine's a little behind because they develop it on a PC, but they put out crap graphics for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One because they can't handle the PC level graphics. So they have to go remap. They have to go remap all the textures to higher resolutions. You know how that works, Mitch. What I wanted to bring out is really important about this because people have been having issues. People have been logging into their Bungie.net accounts to link their Blizzard account to it, but they've been logging in with their Blizzard account first, and it's been completely invalidating all of their licenses on the Xbox or the PlayStation. And taking away light levels, taking away expansion stuff. So it's really important that when you go to Bungie.net, for those of you that play, log into the site with your login information for either your PlayStation or your Xbox account if you're going to play on the PC, and then link your Blizzard account. I just did it. It worked fine. My guy didn't disappear. So there's been some nightmares. Somebody posted on Reddit that they lost everything on their account, and they had 3 full characters on their account. I only have 1 iffy. So be very careful for when you do that, because the Destiny 1 players will get benefits in Destiny 2, some kind of skins or some other crap, titles, things like that, that'll be in the Destiny 2 game. But we don't know what that is yet. They haven't announced that yet. When we find out, I'm sure we will. But that's all I got on that. I just wanted a quick, basically, public service announcement. Make sure nobody gets screwed over this transition if they go to PC, because that's where it's at, PC. That's all I got. I think that's all we've got for this week, right?
That's enough. Man, so many tangents in this. We need to just have a happy episode where everything's nice and happy and we don't.
Right. So every article involves Batman. Got it. All right.
Yeah. We need just a Batman only show. We need to make the East Batman podcast for Batman.
Yeah. Right. Perfect. Batman. DC by Batman. Perfect. All right, everyone. Thank you for listening. For those of you that showed up live in the chat room on YouTube and Twitch, because we are now simultaneously casting to Twitch as well. You can get to those links, by the way. stasisgeek.com/live, and you can actually pull up both of the feeds. And the Twitch is built in, but the Twitch chat is built in, but the YouTube one is kind of funky the way YouTube's API works, so we'll have to figure something out. But you can check those out.
Thank you, Mr. Henson.
Yes. Thanks, Tom. So, yeah, if you go to the stasisgeek.com/live, you will get to that.
No content.
Oh my
well,
gosh.
The first one didn't have content, so what can you expect?
Yeah. All right, so anyways, I'll get back to it. Thank you for listening. Thanks for joining on this live stream. Please give us feedback on our episodes wherever you download them from iTunes or wherever. And please like, share, comment, subscribe on YouTube and Twitch. Take your pick. I've got an app that lets me talk to both of you at the same time, so I'll be able to chat that out. But anyways, any of the future content will be up on the YouTube page and the Twitch as well, as soon as I teach Mitch how to use computers. And we'll eventually get that Patreon
I can use computers. I get on the Facebook all the time.
And we'll eventually get that Patreon up so you guys can show your support and we can expand the shows even further. Some of these people that we need to get things from have to get paid for some things, like that new theme that I've been trying to find. Go ahead, do your part, Mitch.
Okay, my part. Hey, you want to contact us? Well, you can contact us at ECG_podcast on Twitter. Our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/ECGpodcast, or our email address at ECGpodcast@gmail.com when Jeremy remembers to check it. Also, visit
I checked
us on
it.
our webpage,
There was nothing.
www.stasisgeek.com. That's STASISGEEK.com. Or, like Jeremy said, I don't think he said this, but I'm saying it. Post a comment and we'll probably read it, maybe. Hey, get on the chat because we absolutely will read that eventually.
Hey, and on the Facebook page, I'm going to start posting links to when Mitch or I are streaming on Twitch. I'll actually post a post with those links in there as well, so you guys can go to those and keep up with us, because Mitch has actually been streaming a lot of independent games, indie games, Darkest Dungeon, Death Road to Canada. If you've never seen it, you got to see it. It looks like a great game. And what was the one you were playing today? Rogue Legacy.
I played Rogue Legacy today. Yeah, I've got some that I'll jump on and play every now and then. My playthroughs aren't very serious or anything. It's just me going through. But I want to try. What's the next one I want to try? I want to get back into Disgaea. I never got to finish that. Geez, I've got a Sherlock Holmes game. I love Sherlock Holmes, so I want to play. What else do I have? I don't know. Whatever. Maybe I need to post what. Oh, Cat Lateral Damage. That one. I just
Cat
installed
Lateral
that one,
Damage.
actually.
That game actually has a VR version too.
Yeah, I saw that. In fact, I panicked for a second because
You thought it was
I looked
VR
at my
only.
library and it said, "Oh, you have one VR game," and I was like, "Oh my god, that's just VR only, isn't it?"
I guess that means you're gonna have to buy a VR headset.
No, it's not. It's not VR only.
I know it's not. I know it's not. All right. Well, check us out on our site, on our Facebook page, on the YouTubes, and we'll start getting more content out here very shortly. We'll be back next week. Until then, stay geeky.